It's Tuesday, August the 24th, King of the Mountain State Show. I'm Chase Hill. One of my guests today is got a super bright future. He's used to winning these kind of things. He's won a bunch of them. He's fought in a bunch of different weight classes, almost always comes out on top. The government knows him as Robert Nice Wonder. We know him as Bobby Freshness.
Yep, that's me.
All right, man. So before we get started talking boxing, tell the fans a little bit about how old you are, where you're from, that kind of stuff. I know you didn't grow up there in West Virginia. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, I greatness. The greatness was born in Chicago, Illinois. That's my hometown, and I eventually moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, for a few years, and then I me and my father, we moved back here to West Virginia because he has his family out here, and most of my family lives out here in this beautiful state. So, and then ever since then, I just decided to stay here. So this is where I'm at.
Yeah, and it is a good place. It's a beautiful place. I like it there. Now, tell me about the fight game. You grew up loving fighting, getting into it. You've been doing this thing for 7 years now, maybe not consistently all the way through, but all the way back to 2014. That's when you won your first semi-pro tournament. And then you went on to win a bunch more of them in different weight classes. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, in 2014, I wasn't into fighting or anything. I had a buddy, he came to me and he said, "Hey, will you sign up for this with me? And, we'll do this together." And well, actually I ended up going and he wasn't there. He didn't show up himself. So I was kind of alone in this. And then next thing you know, out of nowhere, I didn't believe I was winning. I thought it was a joke at all, thought it was a joke at first, but I ended up winning middleweight as a middleweight competitor, and I won.
Just walking in off the streets, right? No training, no nothing.
I really walked in off the streets. Actually, it wasn't even off the streets. I had been working all day on a roof, and it was a 2-day tournament. So I worked on this roof and got done working, and then went straight to boxing, and then had to do the same thing the next day. So I was on a roof the next day, 6 a.m, and then got off the roof, and then ended up winning.
So after middleweight, then the next time you competed, how long was it until you ended up in the heavyweight division?
Yes. In 2017, I tried out for the heavyweight division, which it was by far, it was a really far cry. It was a far cry, to be honest, because there were some really big dudes in there. Like there was one dude named Vito the Torpedo. He's like 400 pounds. And I mean, good thing I didn't have to go against that, but I was the lightest dude weighing at like 192, and I still came out on top, and that blew my mind too. So once that happened, I realized, I was like, man, if I can handle my own in different weight classes, this can't be a fluke,
Well, and you've did middleweight, you've did heavyweight, and then recently, was there a cruiserweight or something in there?
Yes, I did a cruiserweight 2 week, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks before you called me for your tournament. And I was still kind of light, I was still actually losing weight because I wasn't really preparing, a 2 or 3 day notice fight. And I took it and I ran with it, and I did pretty well.
So it was your boy, Derek Lambert, that reached out to me that said, "Hey, you should really get Bobby Freshness. Like he can really fight." And he's like, "I just don't know if he can do the heavyweights because he's a little smaller than that." And so it was one of those things where you had to actually somehow try to get yourself ready for this in a week or two, or maybe like a week, while trying to add weight, like eating pizza or doing whatever ice cream or whatever it is to put on weight.
I was stuffed.
Yeah. And you again weighed in a heavyweight competition as the lightest guy.
Yes.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that now, trying to be a little bit more regular, more of a boxer. I think the reason you walked in off the street and had so much success is you are just naturally a boxer. Like the way your ring mannerisms, the way you throw punches, you're just naturally a boxer. But now trying to get a little bit more polished, who have you been working with and sparring or training with to try to get ready for this thing?
Honestly, I work till 5 o'clock. So I've been really trying to get it in with anybody, like all my buddies. I have a few buddies that go to the gym, and sometimes I can't make it to the gym because they got something going on. But when I'm able to spar, it's what I'm doing. I'm at advantage. Uh, I, Derek, he teaches me a lot of stuff. Um, there's a lot of people there, like Jeremy Mitchell, there, Brandon Rogers. Like it's it's like a family type thing, and they help me out. They help me out a lot. And over the past few months, I've grown a lot, and I I can't help but to thank them. To thank them because they've helped me grow into this that I am right now.
They're a good group of fighters and a good group of guys. They really are a family. That's a key word. Like those guys have each other's back. Now,
Yeah.
I've noticed you get a lot of support. Like when we post stuff on Facebook or we talk about you fighting or your highlights, like you got a lot of people out there that wants to see you do well in this. What's it like having so many people reach out to you and support you through this?
Honestly, it makes me feel really, really good because in my hometown, I created a bad name for myself early off. Like I've been in trouble a few times, and it's really cool that people have looked past that and they come support me in my boxing, and they really support like what I've become instead of dogging me and talking crap, saying, oh, I hope he loses and this and that. I got my town on my back, and it really helps. It's really astonishing how things have turned around.
Well, in round one, when you fought, you were again the lightest guy in the competition. You were fighting in the heavyweight tournament. You came in not even at 200 pounds. You fought Brody Rutledge, who's a game fighter, who is really tough and skilled, young guy. He's going to have a bright future too. That ended up being a great fight through the whole thing. What was it like getting in there as an opportunity to mix it up with some of the best? I know in some of these other tournaments, you have some fights where it's not the biggest competition. What's it like getting in there with somebody like Brody Rutledge?
Man, I will tell you this. I took this fight and I was really nervous. Let me tell you something about Brody too. Brody, he had something in his life that he wanted, and he worked all of the time that he could work. Now, this is dedication. This man worked all the time he could work and saved up money, quit his everything he was doing just for this fighting. And when he told me that really made me nervous, because that means that, man, he gave up a lot of stuff to fight. And he fought with his heart and mind. I'm telling you, the man, I don't know if everybody knows this, but the man dislocated his shoulder. I literally heard it and everything. And it reminded me of myself. Like I've gotten hurt. I've got my teeth busted out right here fighting. My nose broke in fights, and I've kept pushing. This dude, I think he hurt himself in the first round, and he just kept going.
And
kept
you
going.
think of
He did not
this,
stop.
it was a moment when you kind of caught him early and he went
Yes.
down. And when he went down, he hurt his shoulder. Now,
Yeah.
most fighters go down early in the first round. They don't want anymore. Most fighters hurt their shoulder, dislocated. They don't want anymore. He did
Yes.
both of those in the first round and got his butt back up and kept
Yes.
fighting and kept coming and kept walking forward. Like, he is a tough kid, and he's got a great story too. I'm glad that, you mentioned that. A lot of respect to him, and I'm sure he appreciates the kind words. Absolutely great fight. Ultimately, afterwards, instead of moving on to round two of heavyweights, we made the decision with you. You and I had a couple conversations that said, hey, man, I think you got a real career in this someday, but not as a heavyweight. We got to get your weight where you're comfortable against your real competition. So you'll be fighting this Saturday in Huntington as part of the Elite Eight of the light heavyweight division, a division that I think you transitioned really well into the pro game. We had our lottery draft the other night. Everybody in this has the ability to win it. That's why we put the best of the best, and they really are the best of the best. But I'm not going to lie, and I told Mitchell this earlier, when my kids drew out Mitchell Reynolds and Bobby Freshness, I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Right. So have you gotten a chance? I know he's a 3-time semi-pro champ. You've won 3 or 4 of them. Big time matchup. Both you guys used to winning. Have you gotten a chance to do any homework on him or see anything about him?
That I have not. I think he added me on social media, and I haven't really got time to like really look into it. But I watched his interview earlier, and he seems like he's got it going for him.
Yeah.
and he seems very confident, and that's a very good thing. And he was very respectful, and that's all I know right now off of character. Man, it's gonna be a great fight because from what I hear, he stays at it constantly,
Right.
and that's definitely gonna be a challenge for me.
So when you go from round one, coming out of the semi-pro thing just a week or two before, you didn't even know you were going to fight round one. Now you knew you were going to be fighting in round two. How much different has it been getting ready for something that you had 5-6 weeks instead of 5-6 days?
Um, it's actually been very different. My life has changed a lot. I moved into a new place. We got a new place, so I had to deal with that. Um, Also, I had a job change. I was working fast food at Captain D's, and then uh, I had a buddy that came up with a great job opportunity working with him, and I took it. So and it's good, man. It helps me out physically because it's cutting trees, and hey, I have a great time doing it. So a lot of that has helped me slinging a saw all day and sweating. It's helped a lot. And then I get to come home, and then I feel like a gladiator because I get done slinging a saw all day, and then here I am getting punched in the face. So
Right. Well, you're good
it's
at it.
yes, yes,
I tell you what, man, I love, enjoy hearing your story about some of the hurdles in your past that you've overcome. I feel like this is the really moment where things are going your way. You control
yes.
the entire future. You're going to have a lot more opportunities. You know that we support you. We're behind you. The company you're working with is behind you, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really glad we made the decision to drop you down to the right weight class. I think you're going to be tough to deal with. Right out of the gates with Mitchell Reynolds, big time fight. We'll see how it goes. Truly, this is no longer who's the best in Bluefield, who's the best in Beckley, who's the best in Huntington. This is who's the best in the whole state. I'm glad
Yes,
you're a part of it, man. Before we
yes, me
wrapped it,
too.
before we wrap this up, is there anybody else you need to give a shout out to? Thanks, mention, and then we'll tell the fans where they go get the tickets at.
Um, I want to get a shout out to everyone at Vantage. Really, I really thank all of you for treating me like a brother. Uh, Also, I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend. She's pretty awesome. She, instead of like, hey, you need to slow down, she pushes me. She pushes me hard as hell. She pushes me harder than anybody. And I want to give a thanks to my father. He's not here with us, but also, every time I'm in the ring, I think of him and think of how proud he would be of me doing this. And my family, everybody that supports me, I want to thank them. I also want to thank my opponent. That is very key that you thank your opponent because without them you would not be fighting. So thank you, Mitchell, for real.
And it's
Mhm.
a tough matchup. Not a lot of guys, amateurs, there's no contracts, that kind of stuff. They could get out of this fight if they wanted to, but that's never been mentioned by any of the 8 guys that's in here. So I'm excited about it. Tickets are on sale. They're available online at kingofwv.ticketleap.com. We do have limited numbers we're allowed to put in there, so make sure you get them early. If you can't make it to the venue, it's going to be streamed live. Maybe your people back there in the Bluefield area will be able to see that. It's going to be streamed on pay-per-view at combatsportsnow.com. Should be an awesome event. 8 awesome heavyweights, 8 awesome light heavyweights. We're going to add a few more bouts there just to extend the card a little bit. Man, thanks for sitting down, taking time. It's always good every time we get a chance to talk. I'm so excited for your future, man, and it starts again here in 4 days. So keep yourself healthy. Make sure you get down to Huntington Saturday night and put a show on for us.
I will indeed. Will indeed.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Chase.